Hi, Hugo Reed. Raider wanted to come by and say hi today. He's usually over on the other side of my dining room here, but he floated in. So I promise you I'm putting a book up for him when he's over there, just not when he's right here by me. He's doing great. How are you guys doing? Well, I'm going to scoot him over because today we're reading about killer whales. Might be a little scary if you're a betta fish, don't you think? Before I start that, I also wanted to give you the word of the week because I think I forgot that last week. So the word of the week this week is serendipity. Remember, if you have the definition and want to tell me, this is where you're going to find me, jbrown@ausd.net. So let me know if you find that one. Serendipity. Kind of a fun word. You might look for some serendipity this week. So this is called Killer Whales, the World's Largest Dolphins, and it's by Natalie Lewis. Let's see. You see those? They're not big sharp teeth, are they? But they have teeth. Maybe they are sharp. Maybe I shouldn't say that. I haven't actually touched them. But they don't remind me of like shark's teeth. So we have a table of contents. Tells us what we're going to be reading about in the book. And I'm going to scoot over a bit. A whale of a dolphin. The killer whale is the biggest dolphin in the world. It can be up to 30 feet long. That is huge. You know, I'm pretty tall, right? I'm almost 6 feet tall. So that would be a little bit more than 5 of me if I laid down 5 times. That's probably like from one classroom to a next out in the hallway. That's like big. It says that's about as long as 5 adults, flying end to end. I could write this stuff, you guys. Now, people think that whales and dolphins are 2 different kinds of animals, but they're not. Every animal in the dolphin family, including the killer whale, is a kind of whale. So that's pretty interesting, because sometimes you hear people say, well, killer whales are not really whales. This is saying they are part of the whale family. And so are dolphins part of the whale family. At home in the sea. Killer whales live in all the world's oceans. They are the most common in the freezing cold waters near the North and South poles. Killer whales have a thick layer of fat called blubber under their skin. The blubber helps them stay warm in cold ocean waters. And here's a map of all the different oceans in the world, and it's showing where their areas are. So the dark blue here, it says, is where the killer whales live. So wherever you see dark blue, here's the dark blue, this is light blue. So wherever you see the dark blue, those are places that killer whales live. And what was the thick layer of fat? Do you remember? It's called blubber. Kind of a funny word, blubber with a B. Strong swimmers. Killer whales are powerful swimmers. They move their tails up and down as they swim at speeds of up to 30 miles an hour. That's the fastest of any other kind of whale. So they're the fastest of all the whales. That's kind of crazy. I mean, I guess when you think some other whales, they're pretty big, so to move themselves, it would take a lot. Being one of the smaller whales compared to some of the huge ones might help. Here's a picture of their tail. Shows you how that would work, that moving it up and down would be like when you put fins on your feet. If you ever do that when you're in the ocean or the water, helps you move more. Here it's showing the back fin on this part and the side fins. A killer whale has a tail fin on his back and a smaller fin on each side of its body. The fins help the whale steer as it swims. So if they tilt the back one or they move the side ones, that would help them move, wouldn't it? Breathe in, breathe out, it says. Unlike a fish, a killer whale cannot breathe underwater. Instead, it needs to come up to breathe air. It takes a breath through the blowhole in the top of its head. Then it dives back down into the water. A few minutes later, it comes back up, breathes out, and takes in another deep breath. So it shows us a pretty good picture there and there of the blowhole. It would be interesting if you're ever at an aquarium and could see one of those really up close. A killer whale usually comes up for air every 3 to 4 minutes. If it needs to, however, it can hold its breath for as long as 15 to 20 minutes. That's a long time to hold your breath. Wow. Killer whales live in family groups called pods. So their family is not called a family, it's just called a pod. There are 5 to 30 whales in a pod. An older female leads the group. She is the mother of some of the whales and the grandmother of others. So this is showing a pod. See all the different whales that are in that group? So that's their family, that's their pod. Female killer whales can live to be up to 75 years old. Males can live to be up to 60 years old. That seems pretty old to me for animals. You think often of animals as not living quite as long as people. It's not true of all animals, but that seems like a long time. Maybe they even have great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren if they live that long in their group. Born to be big. A baby killer whale is called a calf. When it's born, it's already much larger than an adult human. It is 7 feet long and weighs about 300 pounds. That's taller than I am. The calf keeps growing until it's 20 years old. So it takes a long time for them to mature, doesn't it? If they grow for 20 years, that's a pretty long time. When fully grown, a killer whale can weigh as much as 2 elephants, about 22,000 pounds. And over here, it's showing the calf with its mom. And it's showing a calf drinking mother's milk here. Get my finger off of it. So here's the mommy, here's the baby calf. And it tells us a killer whale stays close to its mother at all time. The mother feeds its milk from her body. She also protects it from enemies that might try to attack and eat it. Kind of like your mom, huh? She takes care of you. Seafood. Killer whales are big eaters. A large adult can eat 500 pounds of food a day. Some eat salmon and others eat large fish. Others eat seals, sea lions, penguins, and even other kinds of whales and dolphins. A killer whale has cone-shaped teeth that are up to 4 inches long. The whale uses them to grab her food, not to chew it. So she must just sort of swallow it whole. 4 inches long is pretty long though. Those are pretty big teeth. If you found one of those on the beach, I'd be excited anyway. And then it says this is a killer whale attacking sea lions. So the sea lions have a pretty good defense, right? What can they do? What does it look like these sea lions are doing? They're getting out of the water. Once they get out of the water, the killer whale can't get them anymore. So it looks like they're running for cover. They're pretty smart. Hunting together. Killer whales get their food by hunting. The whales in a pod work together as they hunt. One pod might swim in a circle around a large group of fish in order to trap and eat them. Another pod might surround a huge whale, such as a gray whale. Then the killer whales take turns attacking the giant animal. Wow, so look at that. Even though that gray whale is so much bigger than the killer whale, they're basically ganging up on it so that they can catch it. Lots of other animals do that too, don't they? It says some people call killer whales wolves of the sea. That's because a pod of killer whales works as a team to hunt food, just like the pack of wolves. So wolves work in a pack or group. Theirs are called a pack, these are called a pod. So they all work on one animal at a time, and they have a better chance of killing it so that they have food to eat. Wow, that's a pretty crazy picture. Killer or orca is the title of this page. Some people call the killer whale by another name, orca. They use this name because the large dolphin doesn't kill for the sake of killing. It kills to get food so that it can survive. Whichever name it's called, it is still the largest of all dolphins and one of the fastest and most powerful animals in the sea. The name killer whales comes from sailors who traveled on ships hundreds of years ago and saw killer whales attacking other whales. The name orca comes from scientists who study whales and other animals. So killer whale is a name from a long time ago that sailors gave it, and orca is the name that scientists gave it. So that's interesting. And it's interesting, they don't just kill like for fun or for sport. They're only killing to eat. Which I think is probably true of most animals, don't you think? If you think of some animals that just are killing just to kill things, you let me know at my email. But I think most animals really are only killing what they're going to eat. More big dolphins. Killer whales live in the water, but they're not fish. Killer whales, like all dolphins, belong to a group of animals called mammals. Most all mammals give birth to live young instead of laying eggs. The babies drink milk from their mothers. Mammals are also warm-blooded and have at least a little bit of hair or fur on their skin. Killer whales are born with a few hairs near their mouth, which soon fall out. That's kind of crazy. So this talks about, here are 3 more big dolphins. Like all dolphins, each one is also a kind of a whale. So here it talks about the pilot whale, and then it's going to talk about the false killer whale and about the bottlenose dolphin. Let me get those better for you, not terribly. Let me read what that has to say. The pilot whale, this member of the dolphin family, is the second largest dolphin in the world. It can be up to 24 feet long. So the killer whale, or the orca, is 30. Pilot whale is 24, so it's 6 feet shorter. False killer whale. This member of the dolphin family can be almost 18 feet long. And the bottlenose dolphin, this is the animal most people picture when they think of dolphins. The bottlenose dolphin is usually around 10 feet long. So that's pretty big difference. The killer whales, orcas, were 30, and this one is 10. So it's only 1/3 the size. You could put 3 dolphins, it would be the size of 1 orca or killer whale. And it's showing that here. This is killer whale, pilot whale, false killer whale, and the bottlenose dolphin. And then it gives us some glossary words that they've talked about. The first one is blowhole, the opening on top of the whale's head that allows the whale to breathe in new air and let out old. The fin, there's a picture of it, part that's hanging down. The fin is a flap-like body part that the whale uses to steer while swimming. The calf, you know what that is, right? That's the baby. And pods. Remember what a pod is? It's the family group. They're pretty interesting, killer whales, aren't they? And then here's some resources for you. Here's reading more and finding more online down here. So you could take a screenshot of those and then look up more information on those if you'd like to learn some more about killer whales. That was a great one. All right. I hope you have a great week. I'll do one more book. I'm going to do a fiction book, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.